The World Bank actually estimates that the amount of fish wasted per year is between 10 and 27 million tonnes, and that's billions of fish that are then being thrown back pointlessly. Leaving university, I'd found this issue around commercial fishing. That was like things were being caught in the wrong way. People didn't have the right tools that they could use to catch fish in a sort of more sustainable fashion.
Most fishermen want to comply with regulations, but their methods of fishing is not selective enough to be able to do so. So they're currently getting fined or even in some places imprisoned for discarding fish or not taking back the fish that they had caught that they didn't want.
This issue was always in the back of my mind, that this fishing problem wasn't going to go away, and it seemed really interesting. So I started reading further and started to look into the problem of why can't we catch the right fish? How in the year, I think it was 2008 at that point, how can we not catch fish in the way that we expect to? And what do we need to do to get fish to do what we want them to do? So reading around the science of that sort of started to highlight these areas where, okay, maybe sound is interesting, maybe light is interesting, maybe we change the shape of things. And light really appeared to be this area that hadn't been explored potentially to its fullest depth.
So this is Pisces. It works by emitting different colours of light, and we've chosen the colours very specifically to repel or attract different species of fish, which all have different behavioural responses depending on the wavelength or colour of light that they're shown. So you could imagine a fisherman would receive a kit of 10 of these with which they would illuminate their entire trawl net, which can be the size of a building. And by illuminating the net in exactly the right recipe of light, we allow the fisherman to effectively program their net to attract or repel exactly the species the fisherman wants.
The ocean is incredibly cruel. You've got chemical attack, UV, you've got pressure, and you've got all sorts of things crashing together. We've had to make these things really hardcore, but small enough and cheap enough that they can actually be used in the right place by the right people, and easy to use as well.
From a financial standpoint for the fishermen, there's the economical sense where by catching more selectively they can actually increase their revenues. They can reduce the sorting time, the labor costs associated with that. They can reduce their fuel costs of having to go out as many times as they used to have to.
This sort of 10 to 27 million tonnes of fish that's being wasted every year globally. We want to cut that down. We want to cut that down as much as possible so that this food isn't being wasted and that can be used to feed people. But also sustain the oceans and their biodiversity. We want to maintain fish stocks so that people can eat as the population grows. But also retain fishing sector jobs, because there are a lot of coastal communities that rely on fishing income to both at small scale and large scale to actually keep communities alive, and we want to help that too.